Well, it's Wednesday, and what? I decided just to do something totally different. Things are really kind of crazy today, and I thought I'm just going to tell a story. I'm actually laying in my hammock here in the backyard. I don't know. Dogs are getting ready to bark at the next door neighbor's dogs. They have deep conversations every day. But since I went through that entire thing yesterday with Carly, her manager wrote, and he's still contacting the label and tried to get the block lifted on her song. They were both kind of appalled by what went on, but whether or not they can do anything, I don't know. But all I can do is try. But thinking about Carly and those days, a crazy story came back to me. That relates to James Taylor. When we did our first tour with James, this was, we did some gigs, but I think the first real tour was '71. And the opening act on the tour was a group called Joe Mama. Now, Joe Mama was the band Danny Kortchmar had. So he was doing opening the show with their band and then playing with James. And the band was comprised of Danny on guitar, Abigail Hannes, who he was married to at the time, was the singer in the group. Abigail was kind of like Janis Joplin. I mean, she was a really badass singer and a real energy on stage. She was, I think, in the original production of Hair. And then it was Joel O'Brien on drums, Ralph Schuckett on B3, and Charlie Larkey on bass. And Charlie later on married Carole King. It was one of her husbands, and he played bass on Tapestry. So they were the opening act for us. And also, here's the other knucklehead is back. Well, hello, Marcello. Marcello, you want to get in? No, you can't get in there. You can't get in here. You're just a nut. Okay. You can see what I'm dealing with today. Okay. I'm telling a story. Okay. But James decided he wanted to do an album with Abigail. So we went back to New York and ended up going up to Nyack, New York, where Brooks Arthur had a studio called 914, which he named his studio after the area code. Brooks had done a lot of engineering and production, and he's still at it. He's out here, and I see him every once in a while, and Brooks is really a special character. I really love Brooks. But we went up to his studio. James had a Revcon motorhome at the time, and we took that up there, and that's what the band was going to be staying in for like the week that we were going to be at Brooks's studio working. And it was funny as hell in the studio. I mean, it was pretty funky. Like very few of the headphones match, and it was like open splice wires, so sometimes they didn't work. I think we were in the middle of one song, and 4 by 8 foot acoustic panel on the wall fell off onto a bunch of mic stands in the middle of a take. Things like that. It was nuts. It was really a funny experience, but it turned out to be a really, really good album. But whether or not, I don't even remember if it ever got released. But James was dating Carly Simon at the time, and Carly was in Los Angeles playing the Troubadour. So she had an apartment. I think it was on the east side in New York City. And so James was staying there, and he was commuting to the studio every day while we were staying in this motorhome up there. And I just remember one day he said, do you want to come back into the city? And I said, anything to get out of that motorhome, I'm good with. Let's get the hell out of here. So we finished the session, and we went back into the city, parked the car, and got to the apartment, walked upstairs, and her apartment, as I recall, was down a hallway on the right side. And as we start walking down there, we see smoke coming out from under the door. And we both kind of look at each other going, what the hell is going on here? And we got down there, and it wasn't smoke, it was steam. Now, apparently that morning, James got up and was taking a shower, and the boiler in the building went off. So he shut the water off, But in hindsight, he probably shut the cold water off first, and then there was no more water coming out. So he got out of the shower, toweled off, and came to the studio. They fixed the boiler, obviously, and then the water came back on, and it was hot water. And it was hot water. It was hot water. So for hours, and there's the visiting the boys next door. Hey guys, come on, cool it. I'm on the phone. Kids nowadays. So the hot water came on, so it was probably on for a good at least 12 hours, blasting incredibly hot water in the bathtub shower. So we opened the door, and it looks like the rainforest in there. It's raining in the apartment. There was a wall of mirrors on one side that would look like Niagara Falls. Everything was soaked in there. If you pushed your hand down, like pressed down into the bed or the couch, you were submersed in water. There was so much moisture in that apartment. And kind of one of the visuals that I remember was looking around, and all the wallpaper was laying on the floor. It had all been steamed off. But all the beautiful artwork that was in frames was all shot. TV, stereo, everything electronic was soaking wet in there. And James and I just looked at each other, and we're going, holy shit. And he's going, I just destroyed my girlfriend's apartment. What am I going to do? And we went and we, out of a cupboard, we got some towels that were still slightly unaffected and put them on the end of brooms, and we're sweeping the ceiling, trying to get the water off the ceiling that was raining on us. And it was just one of the most surreal moments. We finally got things, and then they had to report it. You know, the insurance, he contacted Carly and told her what had happened, and I think there was insurance covered everything in there. But still, it was one of these moments of utter disbelief when you walk into a room that looks like a tropical rainforest in there, and all he could think was, I've destroyed Carly's apartment. And it was pretty destroyed. I mean, it needed a lot of work once everything was finally addressed in it. But you know, sometimes those memories, you kind of don't think, they disappear into the memory banks. And then something like yesterday, dealing with Carly and Waterfall, kind of triggered this memory for me. So it was something I was grateful that I got to share with James. I mean, in the 20 years I was with James, we had a lot of adventures and a lot of crazy stuff. And you know, it's just, I look back on all of it, even the craziest stuff, with such fondness, because it really was what kind of predicated where our lives were headed at the time. And it was a magical period, and I feel really fortunate that I was in the right place at the right time to meet James and have my career kind of latch on to his and have this incredible run with him. And it's fun to see that he started a YouTube channel too. So that's great. I've been checking that out, and he's got some great stuff. So you got to go over there. And hopefully I'll get Carly's video up, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to take care of a bunch of things around here today. I got a really full day tomorrow. I've got the Berkeley webinar in the morning, and then after that the band has a Zoom conference that we're doing. That's going to be great. And then after that, I'm heading into downtown, because there's a guitarist in Los Angeles who's played on so many great records. I mean, unbelievable, named Michael Thompson. And his daughter Sahara is working on an album, and I did a song for her that's a Carole King song, and they're going to be. Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of nice just to come outside for a change and relax, but doesn't seem to be in the cards today. But so they're filming a video for that song tomorrow in downtown Los Angeles. So and he's assured me it's all going to be safe distancing and all that. So I said, sure, I'll come down and do that. So I'll be doing all that. So tomorrow's going to be kind of a full day, but I'll try to, if I get up early, I'll try to get a song in before the webinar happens. But I'm just going to get at this hammock and go see what these knuckleheads are up to over here. What are you guys doing? Let me see if I can turn this around and see what's going on down here. This is Rosano. Where's Marcello? Marcello! Okay, I think that's about enough for right now with the goofy boys. So I'm gonna get their breakfast going here. Sorry, my shoe just fell off, and they're gonna eat it if I don't get it. Okay. Just one more look. What's up, guys? What's up? Huh? Here we go.